Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Unfrazzle TV. I am your host, Emma Leivesley, the woman who unfrazzles doctors, and I am joined here today with Fredah. And Fredah is a TEDx speaker. She's a leadership and wellbeing coach and is a passionate healthcare advocate. She does have a background in mental health nursing and a lived experience of burnout. She supports healthcare professionals and leaders to thrive rather than just survive, lead with confidence, and prioritise their well-being. Her upcoming book, Who Cares for the Carers, shines a light on transforming how we support those who care for others. So welcome, Fredah. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's a real honor to be here to talk about a topic that is so close to my heart. I'm delighted to be here.
Yeah, and it's something that I'm very much passionate about too. I am also a coach that helps healthcare professionals, and we're both very much on the same page with this.
We are.
Do you want to start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Absolutely. So, thank you for that introduction. That covers a little bit about my background. Like you rightly mentioned, I am a mental health nurse by profession. I've worked in NHS and in social care for over 2 decades. Been a long time. And over that period of time, I've not only worked on the front line, but I've taken various leadership positions, and I've seen firsthand, obviously, what is happening in health and social care, how people are struggling, and they're struggling in silence. So I'm currently working very much frontline yet again as a mental health assessor, like you mentioned, as fast response with the ambulance service. And it's amazing to still be able to give back to the community, especially to people in crisis. So I love what I do. But obviously, other than being a professional, I am a mother. I have got 2 teenagers, so I've got the home life as well to balance. So I understand the pressures that are faced by parents, mothers, women, healthcare workers, and I've seen it all firsthand. And like I said, there's so many people struggling in silence. So I love this profession so much that I want us to thrive in the profession, because we really need to rescue our health service before it collapses, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. It seems to be getting worse before it's getting better.
So right.
I think that this is something that urgently needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to go into coaching?
So my coaching journey was born out of my own personal experience, as well as observing what's happening in healthcare, like I've mentioned. So I've had my own taste of burnout. Unfortunately, I worked myself to the ground, and I got to the point where I was burning out, but I did not realize it. So I obviously got to a point where I got what I call now my mirror moment. And that's a moment when somebody held up a mirror to me, and I recognized the signs and symptoms, and I was living every single one of them. I was experiencing them. And this was actually at church when the preacher talked about stress and burnout. If you've listened to my TEDx talk, you probably heard that story already. And as he talked about all the signs, I was shocked. Slide after slide, I was like, that's me. I am constantly tired. I am having trouble focusing. I have anxiety at work. My thoughts are racing all the time. I can't even finish a single task because I'm unable to focus. I am snapping at my family when I get home. They don't have the best version of me. But all of that was like, I'm so exhausted. But the reality hit me is when I realized I had lost who I am, my true, authentic self, my identity. That was really tough to face, because I was like, all the things I used to love, I don't do any of them because I'm consumed by work and thinking about work all the time. So that message that Sunday was my turning point. And I decided I don't want just to recover by resting, which I needed to. I really needed rest. But I needed to also figure out a way to support other people who are in my shoes and, like me, don't even realize that they are burning out, on the road to burnout. So I was like, I want to be a voice. I want to be somebody who goes out and shines the light to these people who give so selflessly and nobody's recognizing them. Sadly, the systems we're working for do not give staff the same care, the same compassion as they give patients or service users. So I chose coaching as a way to help people rediscover themselves, find balance, fall in love with their jobs again, thrive in those jobs, and give the best and most excellent care. Because we know if they don't get that, then the cost of their burnout is not just to themselves, it's also to the industry. Because their quality of care that they are providing is affected by the fact that they are not actually thriving within their health, their emotions, everything about them is diminished, which means when they go to work, they are not as effective as they should be. And care suffers for the patients too. So my passion now is to give back to those wonderful professionals and help them to recognize what's going on and tell them that there is a way out. They are not alone. It is possible, because I'm on this side of burnout. I've recovered and I can see the wonderful benefits of being healthy, well, happy, joyful, and giving back from a place of calm and balance. Yeah,
Definitely. And it is like you said in your TED talk, that people are just giving and giving and giving until they've got nothing left to give.
Absolutely.
That it just doesn't make any sense to treat your workforce like that. So yeah, that's something really, really important.
Absolutely. As they say, we can't pour from an empty cup. But so many of us have been doing that over and over again. And clearly it's causing more harm than good. So we need people to recognize that they need to step back, fill their own cup before they can continue to give tirelessly as they are already doing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you've recently done your TEDx talk.
Yes.
And it is really amazing. I've put the link in the show notes if anyone wants to have a look at it. I do recommend it. How was that? What was that like, and what was the process like for you coming up with what you were going to say?
Thank you for that question. It was months and months and months of preparation. So the idea obviously came from me wanting to find even a bigger platform to amplify this message of supporting the carers. As the TEDx talk is entitled, Who Cares for the Carers? That's the question I asked myself the day I recognized that I needed help. And I asked myself, who is caring for me while I'm caring for everybody else? Not just the patients, but staff, teams, organizations. There was no one taking care of me. And the next question I asked myself was, how long would I carry on like this? And the answer was, I cannot. There is nothing left in me to continue. So that realization has really put a fire in me and a passion in me. And I just wanted to find a place where I can amplify that message. And I don't think there is a better stage than the TEDx stage. So the process itself has been truly transformational, deeply transformational, from developing the script that is TEDx worthy. It is not an easy task. It's something that I have had to learn to write a script and to rewrite it multiple times until it had the message that it would captivate people and actually deliver the message that I wanted it to. It has taken months of coaching. There is coaches within the TEDx organization that helps speakers who want to speak on the TEDx stage, and working on delivery, presentation. How do you obviously present yourself on stage? You have to do dress rehearsals. So the whole process from application to audition to getting on the TEDx stage took about 4 months. But it wasn't just the standing on the dot, which was the best thing and the best experience of my life, but it's the journey of becoming a TEDx speaker. It's one that I would recommend to anybody who would like to go into public speaking, because it stretches you, it pushes you to become better as a communicator, to be able to learn how to deliver a message in a clear and concise way. Because as you've seen, the TEDx talk is about 13 minutes. So to deliver an impactful message in under 15 minutes, it's not an easy task. So I've worked, I've lived, slept, woken up, and eating, breathing, walking, TEDx, rehearsing to anybody and everybody, anything and everything while I'm on my walks. I've taken my script on holidays. So it has been a journey of perfecting the talk. But I love what I've become along the way, because I've grown significantly in my communication, stage presence, and and recognizing, actually, when you have a message and you find the right stage and you're given that opportunity, you have to do everything you can to touch people's hearts. And that message is very close to my heart. And all I wanted to do is for it to touch hearts and to start a movement of change. And I can already now to start seeing the ripple of people, how it has impacted people on this side after the TEDx talk has been released on YouTube. I've been so encouraged to hear the feedback, how it has touched people, resonated with people who see themselves in the message, people who said to me, it's about time somebody spoke up. And I just feel it has been so timely. The audience on the day were amazing. Their response was incredible. But the after effect, the response has been wonderful. And I really want everybody, if possible, and everyone in the NHS to hear the message. And if it can change one person's perspective and start a movement of a bigger change within the industry, that's my goal. So that's been my journey. It's been amazing. And if I could, I would do it all over again.
Yeah. And I think
Yes.
it's really interesting in the talk that you gave, that you talk about, it's the people who work for the health service that are the glue that's holding it together.
Yes.
And people can't do that if things don't change, and culturally things massively need to change.
They do.
Doesn't feel like we're going to get much support right from the top. We need to change it from the inside.
Absolutely.
That's something that I'm very big on. People can only do what they can do personally, to a certain extent, but unless the culture changes, we're stuck really where we are. And I think that's really important. And the more people who work in healthcare start to say, no, it's not right, we shouldn't be worked till we're burned out, like we can't carry on like this, then
absolutely,
that's the only point when things are actually going to change.
Yeah, it's a very urgent message, I would say, because like I said, people are burning out silently.
Yeah.
And what I say to people now, that we're not asking for more resources or more systems, because systems don't burn out. It is people who do. And people are burning out, leaving the industry. Patient care is being affected. It's so urgent that unless somebody really shines a light and speaks up, and all I want is to give people that voice to say, actually, you can start saying, I am tired. You can start saying, I need rest. You can start to say, I am not coping.
Yeah.
You see, so these are things that people feel scared to say because they don't want to be seen as incompetent or incapable of doing their job. But we are human beings. There is a limit to how much we can give. We can't carry on like this. So it is an urgent message that I would love to see many more organizations starting to make a real lasting change to the people who are holding the system together.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You're a leadership coach.
Yes.
just for everybody who might not be sure what that is, what does leadership coaching entail?
So leadership coaching is a place and a space where I offer personalized, reflective, and transformative, a process that is a transformative process to help leaders not just to grow in themselves, but in their skills, to become more self-aware, in their emotional intelligence, in their confidence. So that it's about supporting them so that they're able to lead with clarity, with authenticity, and to find balance, and to do that without losing themselves. Like I said, burnout makes people lose themselves. And because people are just going and giving, they don't recognize that they are reaching to that point where they are on autopilot and they are losing their true identity. They are losing their compassion for themselves and for the people they lead. So leadership coaching creates a safe space for leaders to pause, to reflect, to strengthen their mindset, their behaviors, their leadership style, and it helps them to navigate the challenges they're going through, to build resilience, to communicate more effectively, and to lead with empathy and courage. So my goal is not just to create perfect leaders or to tell them what to do, but to create human leaders. Because leaders sometimes feel that they don't need to ask for help because they're all things to all people. Sometimes they're expected to be these superheroes who know everything and who know it all, but they are not. They are human beings, like I said. So when you coach leaders, you help them to be even more human leaders, leaders who are self-aware, who are grounded, who are aligned with their values, and who are capable of inspiring healthy and supportive and high-performing teams. Because when you lead from a place of vulnerability, you want to let people know that I also need help. I also need rest. I also need boundaries. You model that to your team. And that's the same way they'll also start to realize, yes, I need to take my break. And I need to not apologize for that because I need rest. I need to recharge. So as a leader, you're fostering that, you're demonstrating that, and you're creating that ripple effect. So when you coach a leader, you don't just transform the leader themselves, you transform the whole team and the organization. Because once they develop their mindset, once they have tool set that they can take back to work, you create a lasting, sustainable leader who is now supporting the team to flourish and to buy into the vision of the leader. People who are going to now feel, wow, this person who is leading me is human enough to tell me how they feel. So I don't have fear to tell them how I feel because they're leading by example. So my job is just to strengthen the leadership of organizations, strengthen individuals, and to ultimately create that ripple effect where teams can grow and flourish and complete their mission.
Yeah, and I think that's very important because at the moment what we've got is we've got a sector where everyone's looking around at each other and everyone's rushed off the feet, everyone's staying late, everyone's basically doing a lot of work for free. It's that almost like burnout's a badge of honour.
Oh,
like,
yes.
Look at me, I'm working the hardest.
Yes.
So yeah, I do think that that's really important to model, especially to maybe students or newly qualified members of staff, that actually we're all human here.
Absolutely.
I think that's really, really important.
Yeah. And I think there's something I mentioned also in my TEDx talk about how we want, if people are managers, then they need to be the empathetic leaders that they once needed. Because everybody wants a leader who can empathize with them, who can show them compassion, who can have an understanding of where they are and who they are. So I want to take leaders back to the basics. What would you have wanted before you became a leader? What kind of leader did you want? Would you like to be that kind of leader?
Yeah.
If that's the leader you wanted, I bet there are so many people who want that kind of leader. A leader who is thinking about the small stuff, who is sweating the small stuff, thinking about, has my team had a break? Have they been able to go and sit somewhere and actually rest and recharge? When you step onto the floor and you're walking around and taking care of your team, you're not just watching about what they are doing and asking them what they are doing, but it's how are they coping? How are they coping with the work? Do they need additional support? Do they need a place to reflect on what's going on? How is their personal life? How is that affecting their work? Do they have a work-life balance? Where can you meet them to make them happier at work? Because the sad thing is, we have leaders who are so tired as well, who are so busy, who are spinning lots of plates that sometimes they lose that compassion. But yes, leaders themselves need that support so that they can have the ability to ask those questions, the time to ask those questions. So leading with empathy, leading with compassion, and being at the level of the people that you're leading and understanding their needs and meeting them there. And that's the only way you can create a team, again, like I mentioned, who will follow you as a leader and commit to fulfilling the vision that you have, the strategic vision as well of the organization. You're going to have people who are behind you, because leaders who are well supported, they are even able to raise other leaders. So their impact is so great that everybody wants to be a leader like them. And it becomes easier to attract people into the leadership position. And this is why I normally say, as a leader, we also need to be selfless, not to take in all the work. Because sometimes leaders say, "Oh, I'll do that. I'll do it faster. I'll do it better. Just let me do it." But you're de-skilling your team. You're disempowering them. In fact, you should be doing the opposite, empowering them to actually take your place. What one day that you have a succession plan where people can rise to your level and do most of the work you do. So we need to actually make ourselves redundant as leaders, because we have shown our team what we do so well that they can just do their job. When I go on holiday, when a leader goes on holiday, they don't have to worry about their organization or their team, because they know that they have raised team members who have bought into the vision, who understand the core value of what they stand for in that organization. And in healthcare, it's needed even more so, because when we understand about delegation, empowerment, leading with authenticity, that's how we raise each other up and make the load lighter for everyone and create happier teams that thrive, like we said.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so a big question then.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think are the main challenges at the moment for people working in health and social care?
Oof, that is a loaded question. Can we say everything?
So we've only got an hour.
There is really a combination of so many challenges in healthcare. From obviously at the moment, we know the NHS is on its knees because there isn't enough staff. The staff shortage every single day. That's the story of the day. People are waiting forever to get an appointment. And obviously what that means, the people who are doing the work, they're having more and more and more on their plate. They don't have the capacity any longer. They don't have the time any longer to finish this. This is having a real impact on people's well-being, the staff well-being, and it's having a real impact on the delivery of care, the quality of care that is being provided. I think I mentioned as well in my TED talk that this leads to even medical errors, lower patient satisfaction. The care we're providing them is not to the standard that we aspire to. Not because we don't care, but it's because we are diminished. There isn't enough to go around, not enough staff, not enough resources. People are leaving the profession. This is really another big problem right now. People are walking out of the industry in volumes because they can't take it anymore. Imagine, I've met people who've gone to hospitality, qualified doctors, nurses, and they have decided they want something that is less challenging. And we want people to stay in the industry. Think about the cost of that recruitment when you keep replacing people. It's a huge cost to the industry of recruiting staff all the time. But all that loss of health, people's health, workers who are burning out, and sometimes they end up developing long-term issues that are irreversible, directly linked to work. So we can't have that. We can't continue having that. So we really want to continue caring for this profession because people are under so much pressure and they are forgetting themselves. So the real challenge here is the cost, the human cost. For me, again, is the human cost of the people who are providing the care and is having a negative impact on the care that we are providing for our patients. So we need to bring back that excellent care. I know people are doing their best to do that, but they are being their ability to do so is being affected by the lack of resources and the lack of support mainly. So yeah, let's go back to supporting our teams.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the people who I speak to, a lot of my clients, the biggest problem they've got is that lack of support.
Yeah.
It's across the board. It's doctors, nurses, people working as HCAs in care homes. It seems like everybody's working alone and not feeling connected with each other.
Yes.
I think that's something that needs to change. And it just seems the more that we strive for efficiency, the more disconnected people are going to feel.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because like you mentioned, that culture of self-sacrifice. There is also this belief that when you're in a caring profession that you chose, it's like a calling. And if it's a calling, then you shouldn't mourn, you shouldn't complain. You should just continue to just give everything because you chose to be in the industry. But we didn't sign up for this culture of self-sacrifice. We just found ourselves in a place where we can't help it. If the manager says we are short staffed, can you stay? People feel obliged to support their team. They're like, I can't let my colleagues down. I will stay. I'll pick up another shift. I'll do an extra one here and there. And you just keep giving until it becomes this unspoken expectation, because now people expect, oh, well, if we are short staffed, Fredah will cover. And it becomes that's the person they go to now, because they're always giving and they're sacrificing. So all that, it compounds, and then people have the chronic stress, burnout, emotional fatigue, compassion fatigue, and they become disconnected from their work. These are the real cause. They become drained, numb. You feel like you're in a caring, compassionate industry, but the compassion is fading away, that you become almost like a robot. You're just there to do, to tick a box. But that's not really what people are intending to do when they show up to work. But they find themselves in a place where their compassion is drained. They don't have room or space to give the people they are looking after the quality time they need, to listen to them deeply, and allow them time to express themselves. So even diagnoses are being missed. Treatment is being given the wrong treatment, maybe because people are not getting enough time to get the right diagnosis, to get the right intervention. So we need to really work on all of this to support our team. And like I mentioned, the loss of identity. There is so many people who are carrying so much in their roles that their entire world is tied around their job title, their responsibilities. That if you ask them who they are, the first thing they think about is what they do as a job. Their identity, their whole identity is tied around being a nurse, being a doctor. If you took that away, they don't know who they are, because they stopped doing the things they used to love. They're not even looking after the simple self-care is gone. Time with family is gone. So relationships have been affected. Most people don't even go on holiday because annual leave is another problem to get enough time to go on annual leave. Or if you have children, it's too expensive to go on holiday during summer breaks or any school holiday time. So people are just tied to their work and to their job titles that their whole identity is lost. And we want people to be able to be themselves, to work and care and lead authentically. They need to maintain their true self. Their true identity still need to shine at work. So there's so much going on within the health industry that I do not know how long it will take to fix, but it takes the small steps within the team, the small steps of support, leaders supporting their workers supporting one another.
Yeah, definitely. And the identity thing, it's a big one.
Yeah.
The more you just identify with your job, the higher the risk of burnout is. And it makes things so difficult when you have to leave that profession for whatever reason. And I know that's definitely what happened with me when I burnt out. I was literally just become my job.
Yeah.
And it was really difficult to remember who I was. And yeah, I think that's a big one. People really need to focus not just on who are you? Oh, I'm a nurse, I'm a doctor. It's like, no, I am. And then be able to say who they are outside of work.
You hit the nail on the head. Yes, you did there. And I think that's also the same for me. When I was deciding that I need to step away from management, it took that message, it took being signed off by a doctor for me to realize that actually I need to switch off, for my mind to start thinking again, to remember who I was. Because 24/7, my mind was constantly thinking about my to-do list, my unfinished to-do list, the people who need me. I couldn't take a day off because I like, people need me. I need to be there. If I'm not there, the place will fall apart. But it wouldn't fall apart. I'm the one falling apart here. So we wrap ourselves around our job titles and our huge responsibility. Again, it's a badge of honor to be busy, to be wanted, to be needed, to be respected. And you just feel like you're there holding everybody together. You are strong. You just keep going. But once you wrapped all around that the moment then you take a day off, or like I was forced to take time off sick, then you're like, whoa, who am I without my phone that was on call all the time? Who am I without my work laptop typing reports and managing KPIs? Who am I? Because even the connection with my children was gone, because everything they would tell me, I'll forget. I've taken my son to the wrong football practice in some cases. And, I've been told about school events and I've forgotten because I am too consumed with work. So when I was forced to stop working and take time off, I was so glad to gradually start getting my mind to work again. Clarity. And I was like, whoa, I used to love walking. I can't remember the last time I went for a walk. I haven't been to the gym in years. I haven't even gone out with friends for a coffee for a very long time. I've been saying no to invitations for so long. I can't remember the last time I actually slept and went to sleep without waking up to write things down because I forgot to finish a task. And for the first time in years, I was able to sleep through the night and actually get solid sleep and wake up well rested. So it's really, people need to understand that self-care is not selfish, because that's what is going to stop people, prevent them from burning out. So yes, even in our busy responsibilities, we need to take those micro moments of rest at work, at home, have those boundaries where you say you need to look after yourself. Because it's not until you recharge, you fill your cup, then you show up better and you maintain your identity of who you are. Keep doing the things that you love to do. Do not sacrifice them for anyone or anything, because it will come to bite you the moment that you've done it for so long, to the point that your health starts to fail, your relationships start to fail. You don't want that wake-up call. I really don't want people to get to where I got, because it's a painful recovery. I know you share your story as well about recovery from burnout. It can take months, it can take years, and we don't want to lose that valuable time.
No.
We should be using that time to give back to the people we love so much in the healthcare.
Yeah, definitely. And as well, also the high risk of suicide with burnout. It can literally kill you. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So I think we should set a challenge for anybody watching this.
Yeah.
They have to reconnect with something that they've not done for a while.
So set a challenge for, say that again for me.
For the people that are watching this stream or watching it on replay, that they have to go and connect with something that they used to do that they haven't done.
Yeah, that is a perfect challenge that I would say, not just for today, but every day. Find time to reconnect with something you used to love. If this message today resonates with you and you realize that, wow, I am one of those people who have lost their identity or losing their identity, you need to start doing something small. Start from at work, saying no when the tasks are too great and you don't have the capacity to do so. Set those boundaries, safe boundaries, to protect your well-being. If you haven't been taking a break and you have become a culture that you eat your lunch at your desk, start moving away from your desk and going to the staff room. And I'm hoping that your workplace have a good resting space, because sadly some places don't. But make an effort of going away from your desk. Take your break. Even means going out for a walk during your break. Take a short walk. Disconnect from the space that you have at work. And then when you get home, what do you love to do? Is it a soak in the bath with candles? Whatever it is, do that. Is it connecting with an old friend that you haven't spoken to? Give them a ring, send them a message, go out there. Have you been to the cinema in a while, or you haven't? Maybe you need to go to the cinema. Probably a Netflix series that you have been wanting to get started with that. It's the small things that people need to start reconnecting with. I would say start by sitting down and writing the things down that you have not been doing, you used to love, that you haven't done in a long time. Write them down. Remind yourself who you are and who you used to love. And then out of those, decide where you want to start from. Which one do you do? Set yourself a challenge that every day you're going to do something that is going to help you to start reconnecting with your true self. But it has to be intentional. You have to intentionally block 5 minutes every single day to write those things down. Another thing that helps me is writing gratitude. Gratitude journal has been very helpful for me, because then it forces me to stop thinking about the day and the things that have gone wrong, and to focus on the things that I'm grateful for. The smallest of things, like I have hot water in the house, because we know boilers break down a lot in winter. Could be something as small as that. The fact that I was able to give somebody a smile today, and that radiated something within them. Journal those gratitude, those things that you're grateful for. Start to write them down, because they say the more grateful you are, the more you attract to be grateful for. So it's a small challenge, but it's also really having like a moment of reset every day, where you reset yourself. You start by, it's an acronym, I think, the word reset, if I remember correctly. So R would be for reflecting. Reflect on how your day has been. What went well? What didn't go so well? E is evaluate. What could you have done better? Yeah. And then you just scan your body. S is for scanning. You scan your body. How do you feel? How do you feel physically, emotionally? How are your thoughts? Yeah. And then you continue to, I can't remember the other E, but the last one is to test yourself a task at the end, an action that you're going to take from there. What is it that you're going to do? What action are you going to take? And if you use something like that daily, that you block in your calendar, It has to be intentional, it has to be consistent. And then you start to bring yourself back gradually, and you can reconnect with your true identity. So that's our little challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay, if anybody has got any questions for Fredah, you can put it in the comments. But I've just got one last question. What can leaders do? Because you're a leadership coach, you work with leaders. What can leaders do to help improve the situation?
Oh, there's a lot leaders can do. Not without repeating myself, is going back by asking yourself the small question: what do you think your team needs from you? If you are a member of your team, would you want you to lead yourself? Would you want to be your own leader? You know, the leadership style that you have, the support that you're giving your team, would you be happy with that? Is it enough? Are you satisfied? If you're not satisfied, what are the small things you can start doing? Start by maybe wanting to know your people. I don't know how big your organization is, but set yourself a task of knowing your team, not just their names, but a little bit about them. Who are they? Apart from their job title, who are they? Who are they outside of work? What do they love? Just set yourself moments to walk the floor and check in with your team. Just see how they are doing. How are they coping? I know it's hard for leaders to do that, but just intentionally do that. I think there is a book called The 1 Minute Manager, and it's a book that helps people to set 5 minutes to just go out and find somebody that you can praise them for something they're doing. Just make it an intention. Don't go out not to catch them doing something wrong, but to catch them doing something right. And when you do, make sure you recognize that what they're doing, whether in private or also publicly, recognize them. But as a leader, first of all, obviously, you speak to lead yourself, because your self-leadership it helps with sustainability as a leader. Start by leading yourself. That is looking after you, making sure that your cup is being filled so that you can model the same thing to your team. So those are the kind of leaders we want. We want leaders who will help create that ripple in systems and organization that ultimately start to transform the system one person at a time. There's no magic wand that we're going to change things tomorrow, but it's going to be one person, one day at a time. It doesn't matter how small the steps you're taking are, but those steps are going to bring change to somebody. If you're able to help someone within your team, to empower them through training, through support, through mentoring, find out what they want to do, how can you bring them on board even to know what you do as a leader? Because that's how then you're going to foster a culture of growth and progress. You want people to develop and to become better, and to be able to be in the position you're in. I used to love it when people came to tell me, actually, I want to do this course, or I found another job, which is a promotion. As leaders, we want to keep people in the team. But if they want to grow, if they are developing, and that means leaving your team to go elsewhere, by all means, support them. Support them, because when you support one person, you are supporting the whole organization, because you're bringing more value by uplifting others to become better in their own in their personal and professional development.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think it's all being part of that team human.
Yes.
Help each other out. I know in your TED talk you said that it's not just people who work in healthcare's responsibility, it's everybody's responsibility.
It's everyone's, yes. Yeah. So I think for those who may have not heard the talk, so I've given a few tips from managers, from policymakers, policymakers prioritizing the well-being of the people who look after others, making sure that their mental health is supported, something that is ensuring that they are taken care of as a foundational requirement, not an afterthought. because unfortunately we tend to have a very reactive system where we react when something happens, but we want to lay a foundation that from the beginning there are policies that are in place that speaks about the well-being of the people who provide the care. Is the foundational requirement. We need to get to that. And I talk about colleagues checking on each other. You know, we notice our colleagues are strained, they're struggling. Just go ask, are you okay? And genuinely ask that question from a genuine place and be willing to listen. I shared a story in my TEDx talk about somebody called Hilda, not their real name. But I remember clearly where we had that conversation. It was in the kitchen, standing in the kitchen, because unfortunately we didn't have a proper staff break. And we were standing in the kitchen. And that's when she opened up to me. And I'm so glad I was able to stand there and listen to her, because it really hit me, and it hit me hard to see such a young nurse who just qualified and they had given up already, or they were giving up. They were already thinking about, this is not for me. I did not train for this. Yeah. But it was so good to be able to hear her share some tips with her and, you know, let her know some of how she could navigate some of the difficulties she was going through. Because unfortunately, when we are so tired, so exhausted, we need someone else to hear us out and to give us options, to help us to see that there is a way out and point us in the right direction. So listen to your colleague, invite them for a coffee, sit down. If they want you to be quiet and just sit with them in the room, that is also very powerful. You know, do all of that. And I spoke also about even family members and patients themselves. Somebody shared a story with me, actually, after the TEDx talk. They said, what you said about a patient asking you, are you okay? Someone asked them that question. Mm-hmm. And it's because the patient saw in their eyes that this person is not okay. And when that question was asked to them, they broke down.
Yeah.
That was also their turnaround moment. They realized, oh my goodness, if the patients can actually see I'm not okay, I really need to check myself. Mm-hmm. And she did. You know, so these small things, they make a huge difference. You know, and we know that there are people are hurting. When they come and we are looking after them, they are in pain, they are suffering, you know. But there are moments where you can also check in with your nurse or your doctor. Just ask them, how are they coping in this industry? How are they? It could be the question that forces them to go home and reflect on their career and start looking for help.
Yeah. And it's interesting you say with that example you gave, Hilda, she's newly qualified nurse. It's something I'm seeing a lot with my clients who are doctors, the foundation years doctors. They've gone all the way through med school and they're getting the job that they've dreamed of having.
Yeah.
And within a month or two, thinking, I can't do this.
What did I sign up for? Yeah.
It's such a shame that
it's so sad.
And it's not acceptable either that you've got people dedicating so much of their lives, the financial aspect as well. It costs a lot of money to do the degrees and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you do all of this and there's no reward.
It's actually quite painful when you think about it. And it's not only that, it's also the fact that people can't even afford to feed their families. You know, we're having doctors who can't afford to feed themselves and to pay rent. And it's really a shocking experience that people are going through this. And it's not helping others who want to aspire to work in healthcare. So it's definitely something we need to stop. We need to make people come into this industry, love the industry, want to stay and do the job from a happy place. But it all starts with getting the right support from the beginning.
Absolutely, because every single person needs doctors, nurses, healthcare assistants, receptionists, like you name it, porters, cleaners. We all need all of these people who work in healthcare.
Definitely.
We're all patients.
We all need them one day. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so I've not seen any comments asking any questions for you, Fredah.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a glitch on it because I've only seen one comment. It might just be that there's only one comment.
Okay.
What would you like to finish on? What's your final message for everybody?
So my final message and the takeaway from this conversation is, if you're a healthcare worker, I want you to stop and ask yourself this question: how am I doing? And if the answer is I'm not doing okay, ask yourself, how long am I willing to continue feeling this way? What can I do to make a change? And I want to let you know that you're not alone. There is so many people who have been through where you've been. I have personally been there, as you've heard, and there is a way out. There is a solution to all of this. We've talked about so many small things that you can start doing. Start looking after yourself. Know that you can provide care, you can lead without losing yourself, without sacrificing yourself. Know that there is a limit to how much you can give. You might be a new worker who is so enthusiastic that you're taking all the shifts and you're doing everything you can. There is nothing wrong with that, but do understand where your limits lie, because there's only so much time and so much period of time you can take doing that. So there is hope, there is support, but the support, you have to reach out for it. Because like I shared in my TEDx talk, when I was burning out, I didn't recognize it. My colleagues didn't recognize it. My family didn't recognize it. So possibly what you can do, if your workplace hasn't introduced a section in your supervision template about staff well-being, can you ask for that to be included there? So maybe you can, a line manager can check in with you every supervision or every so often about how you're doing. If there is no reflective spaces in your workplace where people come together and reflect on what's going well and what's not going so well, probably that's something you can initiate and speak about. If there isn't an effective well-being program within your organization, is this something you can start to talk to your managers about? Or if you're a manager, can you initiate a well-being space? Not just posters in the staff room or in the office, but an actual well-being support system where people are given time away from work to access that well-being. So we want people to know that there is hope, you can be empowered, but it starts with you. It starts with you recognizing that you're needed in this industry. You're needed in this industry. Let me repeat that, because there isn't so many of you to go around. So we want you to be able to remain, to be able to sustain your well-being, and for your organization to know your worth, you need to start speaking up. They need to know your worth. They need to know your value. They need to know what you bring, and they need to know your boundaries. Do not be scared to speak up, right? Do not find a way to speak up. If there is difficulties, I know there are places where there are challenges on how people can speak up or who they can speak to. Please start finding ways on how you can speak up so that you're listened to, because being listened to is so important. And I think that's one of the challenges. I know, not that I think, for me, I know it has been one of the challenges, feeling that you're not listened to the point where you feel like you don't belong, you feel like you're not heard. But there is always going to be somebody who will hear you. But you can't be heard if you're not speaking out. Speak up. Let somebody hear what is going on. So that's my message for you to take away. Care for yourself before you care for others. Fill your cup before you can pour for other people. If you're a leader, you can lead from a place of authenticity. You can lead without losing yourself in the process. So change begins with all of us. This session has been about self-awareness, compassion, leading with courage, and we need to provide care differently, lead differently, and look out for each other.
Yep, definitely. And that's a great way to end.
Yes.
Just to mention, especially for those outside of the UK, we do apologise for all the bangs that have been going on. It's the 5th of November in the UK, which is Guy Fawkes Night, so everyone's got fireworks going, so apologies for that. Hope it's not interrupted too much. Thank you so much, Fredah, for coming on today. It's been fantastic. If you haven't watched Fredah's TEDx talk, there is a link to it in the description. I do recommend that you watch it. It's amazing. Next Monday, I have got Dr. Lewis Thomas, who is an ex-GP. He's now a coach, helping people with sickle cell. And the following week, I've got Dr. Ranj Sadhu, who is a GP and hypnotherapist and coach. And he's got a book coming out, and he'll be talking about how he uses art to manage his stress and prevent burnout. So again, thank you very much, Fredah. It's been fantastic having you. And I'll see everybody on Monday at 7 o'clock.
Thank you so much. One thing I probably forgot to mention, I'm putting my TEDx talk into a book. I'm extending it into a book, which I'm actually entitling the same title, Who Cares for the Carers. It's in the process of writing it. I haven't got a release date, but if you would be interested to have some practical tips, because it's going to be a book that healthcare workers can pick up and get some practical guide on how to look after themselves and how to flourish in the workplace, go onto my website. I think that's going to be linked somewhere as well. And you can register to be notified when the book is ready for release. That's
excellent.
And thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
You're totally welcome to come back on when you're booked out too.
Oh, I would love to. I would love to. Yeah. It's been amazing today. Thank you for having me, Emma. I really appreciate this time we've had.
It's been really great to have you too.
Thank you.
So, see everybody else on Monday at 7. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.